Okay, so I did make a video about the homeoprophylaxis, which is the green vaccine that the biotech slash holistic community is promoting, and why it is that we don't want to have any type of vaccine, regardless of what it is. And the reason why is because it creates antibodies. It's not so much the ingredients, it's the fact that it is creating antibodies, whatever those ingredients are. But what the industry is doing is focusing on the ingredients, saying, okay, well, this ingredient is a little bit more contaminant or pathogenic than this ingredient. So that's why there's a difference. There's a green vaccine. So how I know the antibodies are bad is because we're not trying to mix blood types. We can't mix A, B positive with an O negative blood type. You know why? Because there's surface marker antigen. Antigen creates antibodies. You mix an A, B, and O blood type, that O negative person is going to die. You can give an O negative or an O positive blood type to an AB positive because there's no antigen in the O negative or O positive except for the rhesus monkey gene, which is the Rh factor. So that says that antibodies are not good for you, because if you mix the two together, that person who's O negative getting AB positive blood type is going to die from all of those antigens and all the antibodies that are being created. It thickens up the blood. And then over time, if you're not getting a blood type mix, but you're getting all of these pathogens at you and no countering force, and you're getting either a green vaccine or a GMO vaccine, whatever they are, you are creating more antibodies in your system that is not being countered. That's the whole thing of why antibodies are dangerous to the human body. Disease does not materialize out of nowhere. Disease does not just spontaneously come out. It has to be introduced. The human body does not materialize disease. And that's not the point, Charlene. It's not the point, okay? All right? Disease does not just come out automatically. It has to be introduced. Okay, so no matter what, you get introduced to a pathogen in your environment, somebody gives you some antibiotic or somebody gives you a holistic supplement that has antigen in there, because anything in the holistic and the allopathic market, regardless, whether your doctor or your homeopathic nurse, no matter what, the foods that you eat, Charlene, create antibodies. And if you're not countering those antibodies, guess what? You're going to succumb to your fibromyalgia, your lupus, or whatever disease that you have. There are diseases of the blood because of too much natural killer cells, antibodies. Waldstrom's disease, lymphoma, all of that. And that's not the point, Charlene. That's not the point. It's deeper than that, Charlene, way deeper, but you're not in tune with my stuff really deeply to understand where I'm coming from. This is about creating antibodies and not countering them. And so, how antibodies are bad, because it's antibody, regardless of where you got it from, whether it's from an antibiotic from your doctor or something from the holistic community, it's still an antibody being created. And why you don't want antibodies? What would be, the reasoning is because it throws the balance off the body. It actually turns into autoimmunity, which is why, Charlene, you have issues. Why you have a lot of issues. And you do. I did too. We all did. Anyone that's not on the protocol has so many natural killer cells that is attacking their body. So a green vaccine is going to be no different than a GMO vaccine. If you're not countering those negative elements, if you're not countering the three things that could throw the balance off the body, that is hormones. So you have a hormone imbalance. That's why you have cancer, disease, and chronic illness. The second thing is candida, fungus. That goes out of control. The third thing is the natural killer cells, the T cells, the antibodies. Okay? Those are the three things that when you have an imbalance, any of those three things, all of those things get affected. And it affects your whole system, your whole body. Every single system in your body gets affected when you have one thing out of balance. One thing. And so why I'm so happy that Gail GQ decided to come back at me with the information because she was responding to my confrontation, tells me that the holistic industry is still, that's confirmation, is still no different, and why the Vaxxed movie came out to pave the way for a green vaccine. Because no one's focusing on antibodies. Nobody is. Nobody is focused, all worried about the pathogens. They're all, compartmentalizing all the different negative elements out there. Like what you're saying, Charlene. You're worried about the antibiotics that your doctors talk about, but you're not even worried about the whole thing with the holistic industry. There's antibiotics in the holistic industry. Do you realize that all of the pills, powders, and supplements, and your detoxes, and the kombuchas, and the apple cider vinegars, and and whatever else, the Rife machines, and sound therapy, and all these different things, those cause antibodies if you're overproducing too much of any one hormone. It's not just the antibiotic that your doctor says no. Any doctor can say, oh, I don't believe in antibiotics. But then, if you're not educated enough to understand that it goes deeper than that, then you're going to be thinking that just because your doctor said, hey, I don't believe in antibiotics, then you think that whatever else they have in their office that's a supplement is better. And you're not looking deeper. It's more than just what your doctor is saying. A doctor doesn't understand that antibodies are bad. They don't get it. So no matter what your doctor says, they're still going to be playing in that game of producing antibodies in some way as protection. Disease does not materialize. It gets introduced. If we don't even introduce any diseases, any vaccines, we wouldn't have this problem. We have all the different negative elements like aborted fetus cells, pathogens, bacteria in the food supply. When people wipe their ass and they go cook your food, guess what? You're getting the E. coli in your food. Do you happen to know exactly what's in your food at any given moment? No. So you're always exposed to pathogens no matter what. So you probably already have the Ebola virus antibody in your body, but do they have that as a list, an item to test for? No, because it's not prevalent yet. They haven't circulated Ebola yet. But once Ebola becomes prevalent, then they're going to have the thing that says, okay, we now have a test for Ebola virus. So when you go send in for a titer test, you can ask and see, do I have the Ebola virus antibody? And it'll show up. But if it's not a prevalent disease, then you may or may not have the antibody. But do you need to even get it? If that disease, Ebola, isn't out there, then you shouldn't be getting a vaccination for it because it's not out there. Do you see what I'm saying? So no matter what, you get a titer test, it will show whatever exposure, because chances are you probably got exposed to all these different diseases that you don't even have a vaccination for. But you've suffered the symptoms, but you didn't know what it was. Until they put a name on it, you have no idea what you suffered. So you probably already have the antibodies for every single vaccine that they're trying to create. So you don't even need the vaccine. Just go get the titer test and get the list. And in whatever list that they have of what they test for, you want all of those just to see. And they don't know the context of your request. Do you see what I'm saying? This is not about antibiotics. This is not about, the biotech, whatever. Yeah, it is about biotech, but it goes deeper than that. This is about what the holistic and the allopathic community don't want you to focus on. And now I am focusing on something that they're like, oh my God. And antibodies are the thing that they are trying to promote and then try to say there's a difference. No, antibody is antibody. It's a negative element. It is a natural killer cell. It's what causes autoimmune disorders. It's what creates the body to attack itself. And so your daily practices, your belief system, all of that create natural killer cells until you can balance and counter all of that. And if you're still stuck on the holistic versus allopathic, then you've completely missed my whole point. If you can't mix A, B, and O blood together, then what makes you think that having a vaccine that creates antibodies is any better? Come on. It's a slower version of mixing the A, B, and O blood together. That's how you're able to substantiate the dangers of antibodies. Because antibodies get countered by some hormones too. But we're not trying to just live off of hormones and antibodies and fungus. We need nutrition. We need salt. We need water. We need, minerals. That's what keeps the natural killer cells in balance. That's what keeps the cancer or candida or the yeast in balance. And that's what keeps the natural killer cells, candida. The third one. What's the third one? Crap. Oh, I have it right here. And the hormones, yeah, and the natural killer cells and the candida. That's what keeps those three things in balance. All those things, you need all of those things, but you need nutrition to make sure all those three things are working symbiotically together. If any one of those three things, the candida, the natural killer cells, or the hormones, get overabundant or imbalanced, then you will have mutations. Look at your friends and family. They have an imbalance in their candida, their natural killer cells, as well as their hormones. And their lifestyle supports that. And then this whole activism, pitting one side against the other, keeps that imbalance in play. And the end result is still the same, you all die. They're just, saying, hey, you want to pay money to prolong your life for a minute, but you're still going to die. All right, bye.